Well, dear participants, at least those who were admitted to this meeting, to this webinar, I wish you a very warm welcome, as warm as the day is here in Serbia, where I am for the very moment. We're still waiting probably for some people to join. However, we didn't want to keep in the waiting hall for too long those who were already online. So I hope you can spare another minute or two to welcome the latecomers before we start. In the meantime, I would just start perhaps introducing what this webinar is about. This is a webinar organized under the CSSBoost project, a CCRI project that started around this time last year. So we are 1 year behind, with already some outputs available and being put out there for various target groups and audience. There are many other things going on at the moment. One of them is the very topic of this webinar, and it's social innovation for systemic solutions and the social acceptance of those. We are about to create and define an action plan for our pilots that will see the day sometimes late summer this year. And so we wanted to share the approach we would like to take, consult you, cross-check the ideas, the approaches, the methodologies, hear back from you about your own lessons learned, about your own success stories, about your do's and don'ts, and then basically anything that would, on one side, help us shape our social innovation action plan, and at the same time allow you to showcase your examples of good practices. At the same time, it's important perhaps to mention that this particular webinar is the 4th episode of the webinar series that ACR Plus did this spring. Everything revolves around behavior, social acceptance, social innovation, in different fields through different kind of perspectives. And speaking of ACR Plus, that's where I work. My name is Ernest. I work for ACR Plus, and I'm the thematic lead for circular lifestyles. So when you put things together, behavior, circular lifestyles, social acceptance, I hope you can start already getting the point what this webinar series was about. We covered different topics such as reuse repair. We covered textiles through the life cycle, the carbon footprint, the recycling, the collection, new business models, and much more. We also covered the topic of nudging. This was a webinar that took place less than a week ago. I think it was last Wednesday. Yeah, that's true. It was last Wednesday. And now we're closing this spring webinar series with this one last episode on social innovation, acceptance of circular systemic solutions. Why did we want to do something like this? Well, simply because a lot of CRI projects and a lot of Horizon projects, especially those in the bioeconomy, but then also many other different sub-calls and targets that the Commission wants to put forward. A lot of things are happening in Europe. There are a lot of successful business models, at least we think they're successful or promising, but very often one thing that should not be ignored, and I'm really happy to see so many people here. I think we had more than 40 registrations for this particular webinar during this period when I know everyone is busy. It's the end of summer before the holidays. So I'm nevertheless happy to see this many people because, as I said, social acceptance and social innovation in circular economy is not something to be ignored, because we need to make sure that what we work on, the business models we develop, the products we develop, the chains we put in place are something that will find their place in the society. Otherwise, if we ignore or if we don't have the final consumers on board, then we can probably start questioning all the efforts and all the investments and all the ideas that we have. And there are many ideas out there. And then, so speaking of ideas, I would like to quickly go through the agenda, because the agenda is full of ideas, full of initiatives, full of stories that will kind of fill in the next, let's say, hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes. We will start, of course, with the opening words, an introduction to the CSSBoost itself by Yorgos Anampatsis. of the Technical University of Crete, who is the coordinator of this project. Then I really wanted to hear from CCRI, from the Circular Cities and Regions Initiative, the Coordination Support Office, Jan, who has been there for the last, I don't know, nearly 4 years, I think, who was following a plethora of CCRI projects, each of them being different and similar with some kind of common things, and then a lot of also differences. So I really wanted that now, when we are reaching the end of the CCRI as it is at the moment, I really wanted to hear from Jan. What are his kind of reflections, and what did he see, what did he hear throughout the last 4 years about social innovation and similar. So thank you very much, Jan, for coming here and sharing this with us. Then, of course, as I said, the very primary objective of this webinar was to present you like how CSSBoost, how the CSSBoost project would like to go forward with social innovation. So for this, we have two people who know probably the most about this. It's Christina from the Social CRM Research Center in Leipzig, and Marianti from the Technical University of Leeds, of Crete. They have their teams behind them. A lot of people are working on this. As I said, we hope to have the delivery of the social action plan, the social innovation action plan, by the end of summer. So they prepared an interesting presentation, a little exercise for everyone. So when it comes to the content and the structure and the format, I hope everyone will find it interesting, and of course I hope everyone will participate to some extent in the exercise they prepared for us. And then finally, of course, no webinar would be kind of purposeful if we weren't including external speakers and external success stories, lessons learned, etc. So over the last, let's say, month or so, we tried to reach out to many different CCRI stakeholders, including projects, including pilots, including fellows. So we managed to put together a panel discussion from ongoing and new and ongoing and past projects, including some pilot cities such as Helsinki municipality. We will have a speaker who will be speaking on behalf of the municipality from the action plan perspective. And then, as I said, we have also CCRI projects such as Tree Source and Solstice project that are very familiar to us, because I think they started around the same time like us, and there are many things happening in the background. We have a community of practice. There is a shared communication dissemination platform that we are building at the moment. So I'm really happy to welcome Jana, Ola, Hanna, and Kaisa on the panel that will take place after the exercise. So this is what concerns the webinar itself. You're probably very familiar with the team webinar. So there is a chat box always open for you. I have my colleague Gael. Thank you very much, Gael, for being there behind the camera, behind the everything that concerns logistics. So don't hesitate to ask questions. Don't hesitate to raise your hand, especially during the discussion sessions, and we'll make sure that everyone gets an opportunity to speak. So Yorgos, please take it from here. Tell us what CSSBoost is about, what are their specificities, and then we will start diving more into social innovation.
Thank you very much, Ernest. Thank you very much also for organizing this webinar. Thank you personally, and the ACR Plus, of course. I also would like to thank you, the CCRI and Jan, for accepting the invitation to be part of this webinar. It's very important to have CCRI on board and have their view and opinion. And also, I would like to help you, all of you that either contribute to this event as a panelist or just taking part of this and watching this event. So thank you very much. I'm sharing my screen now just to present some information related to CSSBoost. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. So this is the CSSBoost. I'm George Arabatsis, as Ernest already said. I'm associate professor in the Technical University of Crete, and just a few facts related to the CSSBoost. It is a rather recently started innovation action project. Recently, it's 1 year from now that has been started, and supports the CCRI strategic objectives. Jan will have the opportunity to present everything related to that. TUC, Technical University of Crete, is a coordinator of this project. As you see, there are 21 partners involved in the project from 8 different countries, and having 5 pilot cases, 5 use cases. In fact, establishing 5 circular systemic solutions in different regions. It is a project that lasts 3.5 years. In this slide, you can see the consortium with the 21 partners, 8 universities, 6 large companies and SMEs, and 7 regions, networks, and pilot partners, because it's very important. Everything is related to the establishing of circular systemic solutions in cities and regions. So it's important to have on board regions, city authorities, etc. Starting from these slides, probably this slides is more related to the objectives of the CCRI and of course the CSSBoost that is part of this agenda. It's just a slide that meant that you can imagine a Europe not defined by limits, but possibilities, endless possibilities. That means a continent where the waste become resource, fueling innovation, resilient economies and communities. This is the power, the transformable power of circular economy. And we are moving beyond this concept of circular economy, building the future through the CCRI, through the pioneering circular systemic solutions. Going also to present it, but Jan probably explained it much better than me. What is the concept of circular systemic solutions? And CCRI is using this concept and providing also support and also providing support to establish the work program. Is a pioneer and a catalyst in this journey of circular systemic solutions. Now coming to the CSSBoost and starting a bit about what are the challenges that we face, the barriers, and finally what CSSBoost provides and what are the main ideas behind that. So circular economy and circular solution is something that is working a lot of time now. However, we see that there is a slow progress of this concept. And one of the main reasons that behind this slow progress is that circular economy transition usually take place on a micro level. That means on an individual firm level, on a company level. And this makes its ability to realize, limited the ability to realize the systemic nature of circular economy principles. Because these principles usually spans or should span across many firms, other stakeholders that are in a city or even in a regional level. So it's also important to understand that circular solutions and circular systemic solutions are dynamic entities, dynamic and transformable entities. They must be established, expanded, gain momentum, create new value chains, influence and be influenced by the circular economy market, and find also maybe extra regional markets, face competition, risks and threats, etc. So this means that it's not a simple solution, circular solutions. And the circular systemic solution, exactly if correctly applied, points to this direction. But on the other hand, to apply circular systemic solution is much more difficult than to apply simple circular solutions, because large-scale solutions like CSS are very vulnerable to systemic barriers, changes in economic conditions, and probably from problems arising from social dimension of circular economy. And this social dimension is central to this webinar. Let's move on, and I'm going to present these slides because this slides is something that describes well the idea behind CSSBoost. The CSSBoost has three pillars of innovations, of, if you like, is based on this triple transition concept applied to cities and regions, to circular economy and regions. The triple transition and the three pillars of innovation. These are the green, the digital, and the social. This is a strategic concept of OECD and also the European Union. Let me explain a bit. The transition towards a green and more digital future, we all know that are reshaping our world across various domains. Green policy strategies are focusing mainly on circular economy, decarbonization of industries, of other sectors, natural resource depletion, climate change adaptation and mitigation, and similar measures. On the other hand, the digital transition involves the current advancements in real-time monitoring, digitalization, virtualization, life cycle optimization, and especially having a leading role of artificial intelligence there. However, as these transitions, the green and digital transition, the famous twin transition in the European Union agenda, as this transition gains momentum, it is crucial to understand that current social dynamics show an increase of global inequalities and political instability. Rising, for example, of poverty rates, declining human development, worsening labor conditioning, and facing food and energy insecurity. This is something that we face a lot in this period. These social risks, of course, expose the need for development strategies that considers the linkages between the green and digital and social dimension. In other words, if we're going to say that, the only way to solve the current issues, all those issues that before, it's going through these three pillars, three innovations, the transformer of the change of green, digital, and social innovation. So the triple transition agenda brings an opportunity for creating new growth models, put the people and the planet first. So it's very important, and today in our webinar, we're going to focus on the social transition, on the social dimension of our project. But have in mind that CSSBoost is based on these dimensions. So let me explain a bit these dimensions. And for example, here you see the main approach that we follow it in the CSSBoost under this triple transition. And this main approach is that we consider the circular systemic solutions and the city and regions where it is applied as an open space or an ecosystem that involves all the actors, all the circular systemic solutions, also the circular economy market, the value chains, the technologies, and also all the actors around this ecosystem, integrated ecosystems, and also all the interlinkages, interfaces, and interaction between these actors there. So, and this system is monitored in real time and continuous time, digitalized and controlled and analyzed in real time. So the main outcome of CSSBoost is what we call the CSS Booster. The CSS Booster is, in terms of the digitalization, a cyber-physical system. The physical part of the system is the ecosystem that I presented in the previous slide, which contains the circular economy market, the internal environment where the circular systemic solutions operates, and also the external environment to that. Also, the system is virtualized using dynamic monitoring systems and also concepts like digital twinning, and many services are provided through an information sharing platform, through a digital platform, visualizing, understanding, and supporting. This is the main outcome of the CSSBoost. Here comes also as a supporting measure the social innovation actions that will be discussed today formally. Now, going to the circular systemic solution that will be established or are established in CSSBoost, we have 5 pilots. The first one is here in Crete, where I'm now. In Greece, it is a CSS around agricultural, livestock, and food processing by product valorization. The second one is in Italy, in Marche region. It's a regional also CSS, and involves water reuse and nutrient recovery. The third one is in Germany, in the North Black Forest. It's about conventional plastic and bioplastics recycling. And the fourth one is in Lisbon, in Portugal, in a city level, involving the local public transport company, and it's related to the public transport vehicle recycling and valorization. So some specific information regarding the region, the pilot one in Crete, it has a circular systemic solution composing of 3 value chains. The first one is about providing fertilizers and materials for soil improvement using biomass from livestock. The second one is about producing new types of plant biostimulant. And the third one is using low glycemic index, more nutritious version of bread using byproducts from agro-industrial processes. The second one in Marche, in Italy, as I mentioned before, has 2 value chains, a circular systemic solution of 2 interrelated value chains. One is about reusing water for irrigation, and the second one also recovering nutrients from wastewater for agriculture, nutrients from agriculture. In Germany, Black Forest, as I mentioned, it is based on CSS based on plastics, supporting plastics-oriented value chains, mainly using of plastics waste and bioplastic. And also it's a case where we're going to test a rather new and very extensively applied now digital solution, the digital product passport. And in Lisbon, as I mentioned before, the value chain, the CSS is around 2 value chains, one about reusing recycled materials from public transport vehicles after maintenance, and one is reusing end-of-life parts of the vehicles. Finally, in CSS, we have a 5th pilot, which is not a real one. It's one that is, let's say, simulated. It's a last addition to the project, and we wanted just to combine all the value chains, all the regional value chains in one international, interregional value chain, and see how these ideas comes from different areas, can be applied to other areas, but not only that, how can extend the value of these value chains by combining different countries and different regions. This is all from my part. This is a short introduction on the CSSBoost. The CSSBoost already is in the first year of implementation. We finished everything related to the design of the value chain. Now we're starting the phase of implementing the value chains, and also we are in the middle of development the digital tools that will form this information sharing platform, which will virtualize and monitor the whole system. This is from my part. I hope I didn't take too much time.
Thank you, George. You did not take much time, and there are 3 things I want to thank you. One is for obviously presenting the project itself and what the project is about. Secondly, I would like to thank you for introducing what circular economy is about, and especially that we are all familiar with by now, but also about the solutions that are out there that we are working on. And finally, I would like to thank you also for that pilot on low what was that? Oh, low glycemic index bread. That's something I'm very interested in, as I need to kind of pay attention to my diet. So when it comes to social acceptance of that particular bread, I'm very interested in that, and you can already tick the box. It's socially accepted. So good luck with that bread. And so speaking of circular economy and CCRI and the systemic solutions, so we already heard a short introduction. I have the feeling that you made actually the job easier for Jan, but I hope Jan can now actually focus more perhaps on the social innovation aspect of the different CCRI projects. So I welcome you here, Jan, to this webinar. So Jan is someone I see every now and then during the different CCRI events in Brussels and elsewhere, and I'm sure Yorgos met him as well. So I'm really happy that he accepted this invitation. So Jan, please take it from here and tell us what are the different things you experienced and what is common for the CCRI projects when it comes to social innovation.
Yeah, I actually want to take a step back.
Okay.
Let me try to share my screen. I want to take a step back and from the perspective of the initiative itself. I hope it's still loading.
Yeah, it's there. We can see it.
Okay, perfect. I want to start with where the CSRI basically started, and that's the Circular Economy Action Plan from 2020, where the CSRI is one of the explicit actions that have followed this Circular Economy Action Plan, which is the whole basis of the initiative. And there's a chapter in this Circular Economy Action Plan, which I copied here, which is called "Making Circularity Work for People, Regions, and Cities," where you can already see the direct link to social innovation and the social aspect of the circular economy. The circularity has an expected positive net effect on job creation. This is one of the things that is mentioned there. It supports skills and job creation. There's the potential of the social economy to be a pioneer in job creation linked to the circular economy. And it's leveraging mutual benefits of supporting the green transition and strengthening social inclusion. And you can see that there's the Circular Economy Action Plan mentions a potential of 4 million jobs linked to the circular economy in the EU, already showing the social value. Then also, many of you might have seen the report from the OECD on circular economy in cities and regions in Europe, and it also mentions that those surveyed cities and regions that when asked about what is circular economy and innovation about, there's the technological innovation on one hand, you have material innovation, product innovation, and why we here in this webinar, the social innovation is also mentioned as one of the key innovations that the circular economy projects, circular economy can contribute to. Regarding the circular economy in cities and regions, from the CSRI office perspective, the circular economy is an economy with a positive impact on the territory that is sustainable, inclusive, and participative, where citizens reap the benefits in the real economy where they live. And to importantly, keep the benefits of the circular economy in the territory, looking at not only the economic benefits, but also the social and environmental benefits. And regarding social innovation, this encompasses community-based initiatives towards greater circularity. And as introduced by Ernest, this is an important part of CSR projects. And this goes beyond purely stakeholder engagement, which is of course part in many or in all projects, but social innovation goes further than that because it also has this bottom up perspective in there. And so the circular economy with a positive impact on the territory. To conclude this slide with social, environmental, and economic benefits for the territory. I did not I did not prepare slides on what I can see in CSR projects as a conclusion, because one, we haven't really done this analysis related to CSR projects, and I think it's also a very difficult task. So I wanted to rather give you this this introduction why it's important from the CSRI perspective, and yeah, ultimately from the Commission's perspective, as this is the Circular Economy Action Plan is a Commission document. Here on the slide you can see an example from a CSRI fellow. We will hear other Helsinki also speaking later as a CSRI pilot. You can see that, but you can with this example I just want to show that this is something that members in the CSRI community are actively working on. This Food Joy pilot is a food rescue initiative that focuses on reducing food waste in health institutions and central kitchens in Møre and Romsdal in Norway, which is a fellow of the CSRI that has been supported by the OECD and also by the CSRI Knowledge Hub, in fact. Then I also have an example from a CSRI project. I'm sure that those CSRI projects speaking later, they can go more in depth in any case. So here you can just see that social innovation is ingrained in the design of many CSRI projects already. This project Werner is a project that focuses on tourism, and there the links are probably very clear for anyone that tourism is something that is very important for local communities and also ecosystems. So there's the environmental and the social benefit of shifting towards a circular principle and circular business models in tourism. And this project is promoting resilient, inclusive, and environmentally responsible practices to benefit local communities. And I don't have a slide on this, but just to provide some reflections on the CSR projects that I have followed, is that social awareness is very important, because it can act as a barrier and but also as a driver of circular systemic solutions of circular projects. To have innovative ways to go about the social aspects of projects, of initiatives, is very key, because the social value can reflect in many ways, and not only in the jobs as shown in the Circular Economy Action Plan, but also other benefits to the local communities. By having, for instance, a circular hub where social and circular projects are interlinked. There's also many examples of these hubs that we can see in with CSRI stakeholders. And with that, I've already reached the end of my slides, and I would like to thank you all for your attention.
Thank you, Jan. This was a great presentation, actually, because this was indeed something I wanted to hear from you about. So a couple of success stories, and especially the slide where you had different aspects and different process and operations we have in everyday life that happen outside our homes. I saw their tourism and different purchasing patterns and everything, because I'm sure that there are so many CSRI projects out there and so many pilots, and I'm sure that each of them is targeting a specific process and operation. And I'm sure that even having a full day webinar would not be able to cover all these different process and operations. So I hope maybe in the future we can focus more on tourism specific or culture specific or food chain specific. I mean, there is a lot of out there, and I hope they will all get as much attention as they should. And then, okay, so speaking of the social innovation, Now we will have some 30 to 40 minutes, well, up to 40 minutes of a presentation and exercise. It's a very kind of participatory exercise. This is what we wanted to offer to all the 30 plus people that are watching us at the moment, as I can see. And so thanks to Cristina and Marianti, we will now cover what social innovation we will understand what social innovation will look like in the CSSBoost project. And then also I invite you all to participate in this little exercise to, as I said, to help us shape the social innovation action plan and at the same time share your success stories with us. So Cristina, Marianti, I saw briefly before the webinar what you prepared. There were a lot of different screens. So I will let you now navigate through those different screens and tell us more about how far we got with social innovation in CSSBoost.
Okay, first of all, can you hear me without any?
Yes, all good.
Okay, then we can start with the middle board, please.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you very
loading.
much. Yes, so this is an interactive middle board. You don't need to enter any link. You can edit directly in the meeting. So welcome, everyone. My name is Cristina Barahona. I work with the social CRM. Okay, we have everyone inside. As I was saying, I work with the social CRM center in Leipzig. And we're the ones leading the social innovation package. We already heard about a little bit about what is social innovation, how it's being used in CS projects. So now we want to ask you, so if you go here with me, we want you to think about some social innovation in the last 10 years and leave us a comment here of all of the social innovations that you can think about. We have, for example, games for blind gamers. We have telehealth services. We have community maker spaces. So please go ahead and leave us one or two ideas of social innovation that you know. In the meantime, I am also going to add repair cafes. Those are very useful, especially when you live in an expensive country where repairing everything is very expensive. Yes, Wikipedia and Open Digital Commons. Robots in healthcare. I added the fish doorbell in the Netherlands. Basically, they have a digital camera where you can just look at it and let the fishes go when they need to reproduce in the summer.
And Cristina, just a
yes?
question. So the name disruptive social innovation. So this is something that hampers and prevents social innovation or something that drives it forward?
Sometimes that drives forward social innovation. Makers in public spaces, 100 days return for online shopping, yes. Same day deliveries. Community gardens, yes, community gardens and farms, very common in Germany. Let's see what else we have. Repair cafes. Okay, with this, I think we have some ideas. I like that we're having some diverse initiatives, not only AlignSquare.com. Okay. Not only from commercial solutions, but also some policies here. So with this, thank you very much. We can then start with the presentation. I will switch then to share my screen. One second, I'm switching to my. Okay, I just need confirmation. Can you see my screen?
Can.
Okay.
You might want to go full screen though, perhaps, maybe.
Am I in presentation mode?
No, you're not.
You are in
Or am I
presentation
No, you're
just-
mode.
not. Now you
No,
are.
it's okay.
Mm-hmm. Now it works?
Yes, it does.
Okay, thank you very much. So then we're going to talk about social innovation and the CCS project. Here we already started with you. Thank you very much for starting with this interactive part of the session. So now we're going to talk about what is social innovation. So it's a very broad definition, but social innovations are ideas that meet social needs. They create social relationships and form new collaboration. What it does, it means traditionally, there are unmet social needs in communities or countries or institutions, or in general, is a social need that is unmet. This one is not being solved by the government. This one is not being solved by any actor that is currently in the ecosystem. So what happens? Governments, institutions, citizens, projects, or any actor can come up with a social innovation to fix this social need that is not being met. Traditionally, social innovation follows a process. So first you have someone that notices the problem, and this institution, organism, or person decides to start understanding what's the problem. So they start with prompts, inspirations, diagnosis, and think, okay, what is wrong here? What's the problem? What can we do to fix it? That leads to the second step. So in the second step, you start turning the proposals and ideas to think, how can I solve this situation that I have, and how can I deliver to meet the needs of the citizens, the community, or the business, or whatever need that you're trying to solve. Next, you already have your proposals and ideas. Now is the time to test them. So they follow prototypes and check which ones work the best. From there, you choose the ones that work the best. Then you can sustain through time, make them better, and then see that the solution is meeting the need. After that, you can make them bigger, so you can take another problem, you can solve the problem in other areas, you can start a second business if the solution was a business to expand more the solution. And then the sixth part, which is the biggest one, is this systemic change. This is the case where your social innovation was so disruptive and so impactful that it changes completely the system that you are working in. An example of this one, I think one very famous one, is the microloans. So that one was so big, the impact that it created system change. And now about the social innovations, this can be a lot of things. This can be models, this can be products, this can be services, can be policies, can be even projects, can be services. There are so many different types of social innovations that can be created, not necessarily only products or market or a market-related solution. So just to bring you back, we're inside the CSSBoost project. We already got a very good introduction to this. So just to keep in mind that we have the pilots, and the pilots are located in Lisbon, Marche, sorry, got a problem here, Greece, and Germany and Portugal. So how about social innovation in the CSSBoost project? For us, social innovation is one, adaptive, and second, iterative, where methodologies and tools need to be applied through a collaborative effort or with internal and external stakeholders, and it needs to address social changes, but also circular economy principles. And in this case, for us, the innovation that can come out of this are value chains, products, and strategies to promote sustainable solutions. So what do we want to do? We want to bring together local government, businesses, researchers, and citizens, this whole ecosystem, test, scale, circular practices. So how do we do it? We have systemic collaboration. Second, knowledge sharing. 3, citizen engagement. And 4, technology. These are the 4 pillars that we have for social innovation. Now we'll go through some of this is the theory, now how it is put into practice. So first, social innovation means that there are so many different methods. The tools can come from ideation, it can come from participatory design, it can come also from the field of engineering through constant process improvement. So we went through a lot of these tools and selected the ones that we thought that were the most useful methods and tools for the context of the CSSBoost project. We're currently working on these. We call them social innovation leaflets. Basically, it's a 2-pager where you can read, okay, what is the method about? What resources do you need to put it to test? What is the potential inside of the CSSBoost project? What's the advantages and disadvantages? Related methods, how to use it, a little worksheet on how to use it in case it's a method. And all of this goes for all of the methods and tools that we found interesting that could be applied in the project. The next step is sharing these ones with the pilots because there are a lot of different tools, but we need to decide with them which ones make more sense to apply with them in the pilots. And the ones that they select, then we can share more with them through workshops, how it's done, how they can apply this methodology, and how we can be with them when they apply this methodology. So that's why we have these 3 here, which is knowledge sharing, systemic collaboration, and technology, because we are also having a digital version of the worksheets that which can be used in Miro, in case they can be either done in person or also through digital workshops. And at the end of the project, when we have refined version of all of the worksheets, then we will also make them available for the public as a knowledge sharing. And then we also said about technology. So we want to also use citizen engagement through a platform called With Network, which is app-based. The servers are located in Germany, and it's a privacy-first platform. The idea is that you can have channels, posts, multi-stakeholder interaction, and channels where you can share information to your stakeholders. So the idea is to engage stakeholders such as municipalities, SMEs, researchers, and citizens through dedicated digital channels. Sorry, it can be used to share important information based on location. So if I have an event or something's happening related to somewhere in your location, you will have the notification only for that. And through this platform, another part of the CSSBoost and also related to social innovation is knowledge sharing through educational offers that will come after in the project. But here it can also be open to the public and to the stakeholders, which are the current educational offers that are being available, and how they can also enroll and how they can participate within the circular economy and local workshops. So also in which cases cities giving tips, giving ideas related to each specific stakeholders on how they can participate of the circular economy and circular systemic solutions. And now, Marianthi, we change to you. Now we go to the second part of what other social innovations will be part of the project, where they are still not being implemented, but Marianthi has some examples where in other cases it already has been successfully implemented.
Great, thank you, Christina. I will start sharing my screen if
yes,
possible.
Let me stop sharing so we can switch. Okay, you should be able to share now.
No.
Yes, we can see it.
But I don't want. Is it full screen or?
It is. We just see the presentation.
I don't want the presentation mode. I don't know why it's opting for that. Wait, maybe I can switch to this and then switch. Okay, I think it's better now, right?
Yes.
Okay, so hi, my name is Marian Filiapi. I am the Research Program Director of the Transformable Intelligent Environments Laboratory here at the Technical University of Crete. I'm an architect by training, and I have a master's degree in design and computation from MIT. So today I am going to present you a best practice example that we have already worked on and operated for at least 5 years. in Athens, and this is the case of the Athens Municipal Makerspace. It is a public infrastructure in the city of Athens, and the objective from the very beginning was to promote the citizen engagement, an open lab for collaborative learning, creative experimentation with technology. And when I mention technology, I mean both digital and analog tools and equipment for digital design and fabrication. With this, we wanted also to elevate local entrepreneurship and also social innovation. What the Athens Municipal Makerspace did practically is that it provided to the public free access to tools and technology, and not only that, but also the knowledge, the know-how on how to operate those tools to create something from scratch, to how to navigate from an idea to a finalized product. The funding partners is our lab here at the Technical University of Crete. Everything was funded by the Stavros Niarchos Foundation. It was coordinated by the Athens Partnership, and all it was led by the City of Athens, and especially the Directorate of Childhood Education and Lifelong Learning. So, as I mentioned before, practically a makerspace is an open educational space. For us, it's the equivalent of a lab. With all this amazing equipment that is now open to the public. Usually laser cutters, 3D printers, CNC routers, they used to belong to either to the closed walls of academia or to the companies and infrastructure that was not, in any case, it was never open to the public. But gradually, thanks to the maker culture, it eventually became a very common practice, and to provide people with these tools. It began with students, and then gradually it started to work with not only professionals, but as I will show you, even people with no prior knowledge of design or fabrication. The idea was to foster this maker culture mindset and help you create something. The mission was, as I said before, to support do-it-yourself initiatives in the city, lifelong learning programs, especially when it comes to technology. They're very hesitant in the beginning to approach, but if you don't have the part of the learning as the sole objective, meaning that I'm not going to teach you how to use a 3D printer, but I'm going to help you create your own jewelry, for example, through 3D printing. And that was the key that helped us approach more and more people. Startups and small businesses, creative groups like people in the gaming industry or in the fashion industry or music, a lot of civic associations and non-profit foundations, as well as all the schools in the city of Athens, from kindergartens and preschools to elementary schools up to high schools, and of course the local universities. We have an interdisciplinary methodology here at the lab that we used because we deeply believe that anything that has to do with innovation in the world that we're living now, it must be interdisciplinary. So you cannot rely on just one discipline to be innovative. You have to combine knowledge and know-how and technology. So in this case, we combined the makerspace technology that helped with skill building, with design thinking. So coming from an architectural background, that was the way to go into problem solving, and use participatory practices, meaning that helping people working bottom up and helping people understand that you're working with them. It's not that you're just giving them knowledge. It's something that involves more and more people, and this gradually brings more personal and social engagement. This is some of the equipment that we used in the lab. Going through the goals that we had is, of course, to help people of all ages, all levels of experience, regardless of what you studied, regardless of what you're doing in your work. You come and you start from scratch, and you're building on already existing knowledge and using seminars and hands-on workshops. We really wanted to, we saw when we were working with schools in Greece, we saw that there is a pretty large digital gap, actually two gaps, one that has to do with between men and women, and the second one that has to do between teachers and students. So the students nowadays are way more advanced in terms of technological literacy than their teachers, which brings everyone in a very false loop of not wanting to incorporate technology into their everyday lives, especially in the classroom. So we really wanted to work on that and bridge this digital gap. Of course, promote inclusivity and gender equality in high-tech spaces. More than 70% of our users were women, and we were really proud of this achievement. Also, I talked about this before, to support the participatory approach between various stakeholders and between people with different types of knowledge. So everybody who was sitting on the table, they brought something different from their background, and this created a really interesting puzzle of knowledge that especially when the things were put in place, it worked miraculously. There were also craftsmen that used a lot our makerspace, craftsmen who used to work with traditional tools, and they really wanted to build, to bring their game up and learn new techniques and learn how to use their new tools, new digital tools, before they move on and invest by buying a tool like that in their businesses. So we were acting like a hub for those relatively small companies, but there was a natural trust building and a feeling of security that helped them moving forward with digital technology. A lot of support to the teachers, as I said before, to train them, and empowerment is the concept of upskilling or reskilling, and help them also connect the idea of not the tools and the methodology of design thinking with the maker movement inside their classroom. What do I mean by that? Rather than using just the blackboard or the whiteboard to teach a concept, opt for something that is hands-on. Start creating something through which the students will learn the same thing rather than reading it from a book. We also, since it was a municipal project, we also trained municipal staff, and in order to ensure not only the further operation of this facility, but also to help them starting to incorporate some of their everyday activities through the lab's facility. Train and empower citizens in the beginning from problem solving. So the lifelong learning workshops, the idea was come with an idea, come with a problem, and we will help you specialize it, create an object, create an idea, help you design a facility, and we have seen many miracles working into this direction. So with this, we created a supporting environment for all ages, and it was really fulfilling for us to see or to hear this phrase that whenever I come into this lab, people felt like, give me something to work on. It was really empowering, and it was emanating this notion of creativity. And along this, of course, came fueling up the imagination with more knowledge. This also brought a synergy between the local government and municipality with universities and research centers that is not very common here in Greece. Some projects that we created, especially in the sustainability theme. This is a green community rooftop that we created together with MIT students from the School of Architecture, WWF, and the Home Project. It was a building where for minor children stayed for a while in Athens. Of course, we were through the municipality. We were a part every year with the European Week for Waste Reduction, and here we, through the concept of sustainable textiles, we managed to reach the third place across Europe in the among 16,000 participants. In 2022, the same, we worked in the national part with students. This has to do a lot about incorporating the terms of reuse, rethink, recycle, repurpose, everything that has to do with creatively thinking about a new life for an object, an item, or a material that you were thinking about throwing it away before. An interactive facade system that we designed with students of architecture, assistive objects. So these were workshops with social workers or educators in special education schools. And we help them learn how to 3D print assistive objects that are commonly found for free in online libraries. And we also equipped their schools with 3D printers so that they don't have to buy them, that they can print them themselves and also customize them to the needs of each child or of each individual. There were a lot of STEM events, open day workshops, and other applications. During its 4 years of operation, we collaborated with more than 311 organizations, more than 46,000 active participants. We didn't count visitors. At this point, there were far more, almost 1,000 events, and more than 230 prototypes. We also, the Athens, through this facility, was shortlisted in 2018 in the European Capital of Innovation Award for innovative solutions to social challenges. So through this project, what we want to bring is everything that we learned, everything that we missed, everything that we can be better at. We want to bring it here at the CSSBoost project and engage the local community here in Chania to help them raise awareness on circularity, on circular systemic solutions. And we also have created a makerspace here in Chania as well that we can use along the lines of the Athens municipal makerspace. And I don't know if I should go into more details, but you can ask me later on.
We have 2 questions, Marianti. First one.
Yes.
How did you identify the tools and technologies that were in demand for the citizens of Athens?
Gradually, I mean, this is what the participatory practice helps with. You start working, and gradually you have your own inventory of tools, and not every tools work the same for its case. So you have your own inventory, and through participatory practices, you start building depending on who you have, who you are working with.
Okay, and the second one we have, where does the funding come from for the makerspace? And are there any tips for creating the business case to get more funding?
So the initial funding came from the Stavros Niarchos Foundation, which secured its operation for 2 years. And then the city of Athens itself funded the next 2 years of operation. And now we're waiting for the third period of operation, which is going to be funded with state funds.
Do we have any more questions? Okay, then we can switch to the Miro board again, please. Thank you very much.
While the Miro board is loading, I just wanted to thank you, Christina and Marianti, for facilitating this workshop. I have the feeling I don't have to do anything. So you read the questions. I'm really happy to see that the presentation drew some attention and that there are some questions in the chat box. Please, everyone else, don't hesitate to use the chat box for your questions. They will be answered on the go, with or without me reading them out. So yeah, enjoy the rest of the presentation. I'll be back with you soon.
Okay, so we have 2 more questions for you. Marianti, can you introduce the first one and I introduce the second one?
Yes. So the second, what we would like to know from you is what is this element, in your opinion, that can make a circular solution socially valuable and therefore desirable for people to engage with and start thinking along this mindset? Yes, of course, if it saves time and money, yes. If it solves a real problem, if it's inclusive, and if it has the opportunity to share needs and ideas, if it is committed, if a committed owner of the service to create a better environment. I would say if it's relatable also to more than to a larger community.
It also creates social connections, yes.
Yes.
Allowing individuals to transform their waste into something else, or repurposing of what it is considered traditionally waste.
Mm-hmm.
This will be relevant for the next questions, and keep it in mind, the person that added.
Yes. And I would also say, drawing from my experience from the makerspace, if it's something that is collaboratively created, then it is definitely anchored to something more, to something that is more solid and is more destined to have a larger duration.
Mm-hmm. Okay, then with that, we go to the last participative part. So I want to bring you in already vacation mood. And this time you are living in a beautiful touristic destination full of 5-star hotel, like in the picture. Might look familiar. Turns out that every 5 years, all of the hotels in this area, which are many, are remodeled. That means everything in the hotel, furniture, decoration, lights, appliances, everything that you can think of in a hotel is thrown away. We're approaching the time for the next big change. And the problem is that right now, the officials of the region are a bit desperate because the landfills are getting full. So they are calling upon you to come up with scenarios on how to handle the situation. But we have a little variation here. So you need to think of scenarios where they are pro the environment and pro the community. That means it's good for the environment and also good for the community, and they help solve this issue. We also want to think of scenarios where they are pro the community, but they are against the environment. Also, in a weird scenario, it could happen that they are against the community and also against the environment. And when they are pro the environment and against the community. So please, if you can give us your ideas, and we'll be also adding some so you can have also some examples of what these situations could be.
Don't hesitate to be grim. Don't hesitate to be optimistic. Don't hesitate to go on the bad side. It's a really interesting role-playing game that helps you, move deeper into this mindset. Sorry, Ernest, I jumped.
Yeah, so the only question I had was about the furniture, decorations, lights, and appliances. Are they functional or broken?
They are fully functional.
Completely
functional, but they need to be replaced for
they
the
are
different
functional.
Okay, I see.
They might have minor, scratches or something, but from my experience with hotels, most of them are fully functional. But in order to stay in the hotel game and the tourism game, this is not a sci-fi scenario. It is really happening. They are really changing, remodeling everything every 5 years. And most of the time they are not selling them, they just throwing them away.
Yeah, good luck, Christina and Marianne. It's getting messy here.
Yes. Let's see what happened. No, this one.
I'm frozen.
I think someone by mistake duplicated, but no problem. We can fix it.
I think it's because the green ones were missing.
Yes.
But my Miro is frozen. I cannot.
No, but there are still comments. But we don't have much activity in pro community and against the environment.
My Miro is frozen. I don't know if it's the same to you.
No, currently it's working. It's working.
Okay.
Okay, so we start reading some of the against the community and against the environment.
Yes.
We have to. Yes.
Ola suggests that we lock the main elements, which is right, with right click, so that they are not movable.
Mm. Okay, there. Now they are locked. Okay, any ideas on pro community and against the environment? Okay, so with this, I think we can read some. Let's start with against the community and against the environment. We have to ship all of the waste out of Europe to get rid of the problem. Then we have dispose of the furniture and trash produced in the forest and public parts of the city during the night. Collect everything, transport it to another area and sell it in marketplace. Business create waste and asking the community to solve their problems. Then pro-community, but against the environment, we have approved projects without regard of biodiversity, give back part of the furniture to vocational training schools to use as learning props, employ only local community members, but no regard to environmental standards, opening too many shared services without much control of energy water consumption, donate everything to the locals, transferring the responsibility of the furniture in bad condition to them. Against the community and pro-environment, we have investing in new recycling facilities in the outskirts of the city, but relocating the families. We have someone that says that this is not very pro-environment. Could be, depending on how the recycling facilities are built and exactly how much they operate. Create a marketplace to trade used furniture. And then from the pro-environment and pro-community, which is the social solutions that we should we look more into to see if they can be developed, is centralizing second-hand market in the city entities, donating to local community groups, emphasize renovation, refurbishment, not demolition, start refurbishing business creation value for unwanted hotel elements. So this is more on the business idea. Invest in social housing and use the hotel's furniture as equipment and supply them. This is more in the social area and projects. It's the same one. Procure from local businesses. So when they renovate, so at least that they use local businesses for the renovations. Shift to leasing models, okay. So to not own everything, but to be able to keep back once the renovation is due. And the creation of social hubs to reuse material. So this is one of several brainstorming techniques that can also be used in social innovation. And the idea here is that depending on the stakeholders you're working with, here you can come up with new ideas regarding to a problem. How can it be solved? That would be pro-environment, pro-community. Definitely against community and against environment is the things that could happen that someone could do, and we should see the way to avoid it happening. I think the most relatable one here is that people would take what they can and then sell it in marketplace. We can think someone would do that. And then also to think of ideas that maybe they could be pro-community, but against the environment. So in these other two sectors, how could we change the ideas that are here and change them into a possible solution? Thank you very much for the ideas. And with this, we will be closing our participation in this workshop. Marianthi, do you want to add anything?
If there are any questions, actually.
Yes.
I mean,
questions, comments?
We are all too distracted by the arrows in Miro.
Well, while people are thinking of potential questions, I hope, okay, there is something blinking on my screen. There might be a question. I hope you made print screens, or this will be saved somewhere in the Miro database, because I think there is some very important and relevant input and remarks there for kind of the do's and don'ts that I mentioned in the beginning of the webinar. Let me see quickly the question so we don't lose much time on waiting for them. Sorry?
There are two questions.
Exactly, I see them. Yeah, there is one from Ola. We will hear from her soon, and there are more coming in. So perhaps I would choose the one for the beginning from Connie, who asked, how do you change behaviors and mindsets to be more pro-community and pro-environment? Because indeed, the whole idea about sustainable development and everything should be taking the economical, environment, and social aspects into consideration. So a very relevant question: how do you change behaviors? And this webinar series is all about that, to be pro community and pro environment at the same time.
I would say my first immediate response is through education, and you definitely need to invest in education even from kindergarten and preschool ages, and that's the only way to be sure that as they grow up, they have this mindset in. They are growing with it, and it's and of course everything that surrounds them supports it, because sometimes what we built at school, you go back at home and the how the parents behave, everything can be just torn apart. But I would start from the education part, and then it's a bottom-up approach, a little bit from coming from the municipalities, like creating common spaces like the makerspace or the living labs. It's another term that we use nowadays for maker spaces, and it's more it's oriented towards sustainability and circularity. What I forgot to mention about the maker space is that it was, for example, when we used the CNC router in order to carve wood, everything that was left over from how you call them, the tiny pieces of wood, we were giving them to the local fire department to use, or the local police station to use them outside in the streets if there was an oil spill, and we made sure that everything that came out from the facility was either recycled, because we worked a lot with cardboard, or had at least a second life. We didn't have the chance to map it. That would be that is definitely part of our the third period of operation.
Thank you, Marianne, for this answer. Yeah, go ahead, Christina.
I would just add something very fast. It needs, besides from education, you can also add checking of incentives. How are the incentives working in this situation, economy, place, etc.? Because if all of the incentives, economical, social, etc., are being worked towards that the solutions are not pro-environment and pro-community, but only one of those, then you also need to check how the incentives are and which stakeholders you can work with to change the incentives. Either policies, either rewards, either monetary, but where the incentives are and how you can change them. So also the minds and sense behavior change towards pro-community and pro-environment.
Exactly. Thank you, Christina. I will quickly share before because there was also Ola who asked the question, but I will get back to that question soon. I just came back from Slovenia. I was there last week for a project on exactly changing behaviors and mindsets for better reinforcement and kind of embedding circular economy solutions in the society. And there was a good example, a good practice from the municipality of Novo Mesto. It's a small municipality in the south of Slovenia. So how to change behavior and mindset, I would say also by kind of, hiring, like not saving or compromising on the marketing of circular economy solutions. Because if you market it well, if you pay as much attention as, I don't know, Coca-Cola or anyone like big would be paying attention to like their marketing, I think we could go far. Because it's a very simple thing, collecting multi-layer carton, like those Tetra Packs or whatever, milk and multi-layer cardboard in general, milk, juices, etc. They found a solution to turn those into paper napkins. And they reinforced green public procurement for innovation through hospitals, schools, public authorities, regional authorities to procure and to buy Well, actually, they adjusted. Yeah, the price and everything was adjusted for the procurement to go smooth. And then when displayed that, you go to that, I went to that particular toilet and I saw this sticker saying this paper napkin was made out of multi-layer carton boards. So if you present this to people who don't understand technology, who don't know what circular economy is, but if you read that, this something is made out of cardboard, well, multi-layer cardboard, that can be really kind of a gateway to people who don't understand the terminology, who don't understand technology, but when they see that something is possible, that can drive the acceptance of those things because they will not see the difference between a raw, what's it called, a virgin material made paper napkin and a paper napkin made of cardboard. So so my answer to this question is also kind of marketing. Don't compromise and don't save money on marketing, because the idea is to market something circular and to put that something circular on the market itself. So thank you, Christina. Thank you, Mariate. I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to add to your amazing presentation that you took care of all by yourself. We will see if there are any other questions, but now, since we have half an hour left, I would like to switch to the panel discussion, and I would like to start with Hannah and Ola, because there was this one question that Ola posed, and I would probably, I'm sure there is something she would like to explain more. She said something about what are the real life scenarios in this case, because recycling is not. There are these three things she listed: resale, destruction, or disposal. I'm sure that the gaps between these are so big, and it's up to us to fill those gaps in with solutions that could break this kind of three-way end of life into something much more circular. So Ola and Hannah, I would like to welcome you to the panel. I remember you telling me that you would have a 10 to 15 minute presentation. So perhaps I would like to start with that, and then we will go into discussion with Kaisa and Diana. I don't know if that's something that suits you. If you have something prepared, something you could share your screen and show.
Hi, Ernest. We have something prepared.
Great.
Let me step in. Well, let me first try if I can share my screen, because that's not always to be taken for granted. I think I can. 1 second. That's my email. I don't want to be sharing it with you, but I am. Here we go. And now, do you see my screen? Yes, I think you do.
Yes, I do. I wonder if
Perfect.
Hannah is here. I didn't check. Is Hannah with
Hannah
us
is
as well?
here.
very good.
Yeah, she is. We agreed. I'm just going to do a little welcome,
Great.
and then
Go
she
ahead,
takes
Ola.
over.
Thank you very much for being here.
Sure, our pleasure. Yeah, I think I'm gonna just pause the discussion from the chat. I think I'm just big skepticist that that's what I'm seeing myself in this mirror and the chat. So I'm gonna pause that and switch back into solutions mindset. So thank you very much for having us. Hannah and me are from Circular Economy Foundation, and we are here to share briefly some insights from Solstice Project, where we are leading work package 2. Very quick introduction. Circular Economy Foundation is the foundation based in Amsterdam, dedicated to advancing global circular economy and circular economy practices. And in this project, we worked with 4 territories to understand better their current state when it comes to circular textiles. And you can see the 4 territories: Prato, Catalonia, Berlin, and Grenoble. So very diverse in scale and many different aspects. Very diverse territories that we looked at. Sorry, I didn't introduce us. I'm leading the textiles program, and Hannah is a researcher from Circular Economy Foundation. So back to the project. What we are... Oh, I don't want to have this here. Yes. What we are looking at with Solstice is addressing both social and technical challenges with the textile industry and circular textiles through active demonstration in 4 European regions. So right now, these demonstrations are in fact getting more and more active, because the new work package is starting with pilot projects. But before doing pilot projects, of course, we wanted to understand the current state of 4 territories. And our way of understanding it and then sharing it with the world was creating the territorial profiles, which was the work led by our team in this project. So very short presentation is that our profiles, which are now public, included first the analysis of current national and regional governments when it comes to circular textiles, material flow analysis, so what is the actual flow of materials and how circular it is and how much can we actually quantify in a model, or how much do we actually don't know. So what are the data gaps? Spatial analysis of the distribution of circular services and infrastructure in each territory. Employment analysis, so what is the social dimension in the employment part of it, of these circular behaviors and services. Customer behavior or citizen behavior, which is something we will be presenting today, our findings from that section. How did we arrive at these findings? And the beginning of an environmental assessment of the circular services running in these territories. Yes, and I think from now on, over to you, Hannah, to talk us through the behavior study. Ooh, or not?
I'm trying to figure out if Hannah is still with us.
Anna is with us. I see her, but I think she's been coming and leaving. So maybe she has some connection issues.
Oh yeah, wait a second. I have a message from her. She cannot turn her microphone on. Can you ask someone from organizers to do it? Yes, if we can do
she
this.
Should be. I cannot do it. She has to. She's a presenter, so she could do it.
Yeah, I also can turn my microphone. Let me try. But I also see it says unverified. Well, I think we're all
unverified. Yeah, but
yeah.
There's. I don't know what else to do actually.
Okay.
Yeah, it's true. I cannot unmute her myself.
And she's speaking, and
yeah, she's as a.
Oh no. Is that why you were leaving the call to try if it's gonna? Okay, and it didn't change anything. Oh, it's so annoying. Okay.
Yeah. We can. Yeah, I don't know. I can try to, but now from our side, I think it's not.
That's weird
more.
because she's a selected speaker indeed.
Yes. Maybe, I don't know, Hannah, if you have the possibility to connect via phone, for example.
No.
Or maybe full restart of your laptop.
Okay, she says via phone is also not working. Let me quickly check with her.
Okay, and I can remove you from the meeting and send you a speaker link so that you attend differently.
Sorry, what is the solution now? The speaker link?
I will send her a link because then I was connecting as a participant, and just give me a minute. I'll send you a link, Hannah.
Okay, let me try again. Maybe in the interest of time, I will start the presentation, and once Hannah joins, she can continue. So if that works, I'm just thinking it's a pretty long webinar. We already lost some people, so not to keep losing them. What do you all think?
if you think you could cover her part, I would suggest if you can.
Yeah. I mean, Hannah did the work, so I'm sure she will give much more background. So I hope she joins in a minute. But we worked on the presentation together, and I'm the work package lead, so I know what we did. But let me get into the presentation again. All right, there it is. So for a little bit of background, it was interesting because we worked with these 4 territories, and kind of constantly in this analysis, we were shifting a little bit the responsibility between ourselves. So for every activity, we had like a RACI of who is doing exactly, and it is responsible exactly for which part. So here, circular economy was like, had the responsibility to make sure the consumer behavior studies are happening in each territory, but actually then each territory was responsible individually to identify the best way forward for their territory. Because in all the in 3 out of 4 territories, we worked with the municipality team, and sometimes they had different levels of understanding of what is already happening, what are the attitudes, behaviors, and awareness around circular clothing solutions. They also had a different understanding of how their audience responded to different pilots in the past. So we kind of had to be this umbrella organization for all 4 of them, and ask them to achieve some comparable results, but they all could achieve them in a different way that was tailored to their situation locally. So AIM is very ambitious. We want to facilitate the shift in how we produce, use, and dispose of clothing. And consumer behavior here is key, of course, because a lot of barriers are indeed economic and social. So methodology and approach, as I was just saying, it was more of a collaborative and territory-specific approach, which means that every territory did it a little bit differently, and worked with a local focus group, expert group in their first research stage. They developed a little bit of a different and own methodology for an iterative process. And finally, so our role was also sharing a protocol with key themes so that all of these methodologies end up in something comparable, while allowing for qualitative exploration of stakeholder insights. And Hannah, once you're here, please speak up because now I can only see my slides. So 4 territories, we've got Catalonia, Berlin, Prato, and Grenoble. You can see very detailed layout of how many people we engaged and what was happening. It was mostly different workshops, focus groups, discussions, also expert discussions. And there was always in Catalonia, it was more of a mix of multi-choice and open-ended questions and ranking. In Berlin, it was more open-ended discussions, or in Prato, I think it was the only one when there was an online workshops. And in Grenoble, it was in-person roundtable. Some of our results. So in Catalonia, the key motivators and preferences for clothing consumption in general is, as you can see, price, comfort, trends, personal expression. It was, of course, varied by age group of participants and different demographics. In general, the awareness of circular solutions is very high, especially donation and recycling and secondhand, low awareness of renting or swapping or renewal. And urban areas were showing higher awareness. But of course, this comes with a list of challenges and barriers, also related to the type of area and the price of that solution. So then we were able to link the type of challenge to the circular solution being offered in this territory. Moving on to Berlin, similar motivators and preferences, price, brand, and peer and social media influences were called out. Again, awareness is quite broad and quite high, also due to availability of these solutions. Secondhand and donation are widely known and widely used, similarly to rental and repair cafes. with repair cafes and take-backs being less known, again comes a list of barriers, this time related more to accessibility, quality of the circular offering, and the time constraints. Grenoble. So key motivators and preferences. We've got price again as the first one, but also first time there was some openness of speaking about necessity. So circularity also as a very common sense solutions for affordable textiles. Style and then family structure influences choices. So indeed, it's not only age, but also family and as another key demographic factor. Awareness of circular solutions, again, the second-hand and donation and reuse are the most known as they are just the longest running and available circular solutions. Low awareness of renting, exchange, sustainable buying, and repair. It says repair beyond tailors, and if Hannah is here, maybe she can say what exactly it means, because I don't actually know what we reference here with that. Yeah. Challenges and barriers to circular solutions. Of course, they vary per solution, but there are some negative perceptions and price as a key barrier. So buying less is the most circular solution, but there's a multitude of barriers, and actually a lot of them are societal. So there is this pressure that encourages more consumption. At least that's what they identified in the focus groups in Grenoble. Shopping is still considered like a social and pleasurable activity. And there's a constant access to new products, which is, of course, kind of diminishing the bright light of the circular products. And finally, there's also a need. But that's really the last aspect, because we do over consume more than we need. Buying sustainably is connected to something expensive. So the challenge is mainly the perception of the price, that buying sustainably is costly. Lack of awareness, so what actually is sustainable and what is just the greenwashing. And I think there's a lot of convoluted messaging there around what is buying sustainably, what is pretending to be buying sustainably, and how do I decide that? Availability, lack of time, a distance from the point of sale. So with the distance, like I said, we also did the the distance analysis. So how far by walking and how far by driving different points of interest are on average to the citizens of these regions. So if we have still time, I can show you later the results from that analysis. Otherwise, you can find them in the territorial profiles of Solstice Project. They also come with a visual. So what is the actual, demand from the consumer to access that repair or reuse point of interest? Repair was identified actually as something complex and costly. So people no longer, like in the past generations, people no longer have the perception they can do repair themselves or at home. So again, linking, I think, to one of
Did we just lose Ola?
I think we lost her, yes.
Okay. Okay, that's unfortunate. Now, I don't know if Hannah is with us and if she can speak at all, or still not.
Ola should be back.
Okay. If not, we will see when they are back. So what I'm sharing here with you now is the agenda, because there are two other speakers that I would like to welcome and finally give them the floor. So this is another CCRI project resource that I think we met around this time last year when we had the first clustering event of the new CCRI project. It was not Jana who was with us at that time. It was the coordinator. But now we have, I'm really happy that they accepted the invitation for this project, because the Tree Source project, so we have two speakers, Jana and Kaisa, who are with us with kind of two different roles. So when I was introducing the webinar, I told you about the kind of approach different projects are having, but I also wanted to cover success stories and kind of implementation reports basically from pilot cities and fellow cities. So I'm really happy that with the Tree Source project we managed to cover both. So we have Jana who is with us on behalf of the Eco Fellows, which is an organization founded and then financed by the city of Tampere. She will explain it better. And then we also have Kaisa from Forum Virium, who is here on behalf of the Helsinki municipality and who is implementing the local social innovation actions. So I had a meeting with them last week. We did not necessarily like agree on any presentation, but more of a storytelling. So Jan and Kais, I don't know if you prepared anything. If not, it doesn't matter much. What matters is really like your story and all the things you observed and witnessed during the development and the implementation of the social innovation action. So could you tell us more, like where did you start, how did you start, what was the basis, and how far did you get with all this?
Yes, thank you. Hello from my side. My name is Jaana Koivisto and I work for Eco Fellows, and actually we have prepared something with Kaisa, so I can show this to you. And a little bit moment, I put to the presentation mode.
Great, thank you, Jana.
Thank you. I hope you see it.
Yes, perfect.
So we are a Horizon project, CCRI project, and our aim is to initiate systemic change by developing systemic circular economy solutions in cities and regions. And our key value chains are underutilized or unused plastic waste. And actually we have here also the clothing and the fabric, because many people don't know actually that there are so much plastic included as a material in textiles and clothing. And also we have these end-of-life electric vehicle batteries and also the bio-based waste and side streams. And because we wanted to have more acceptance with the among the citizens, so that's why we have had a lot of work with our many stakeholders. And for example, I have here one example, and then Kaisa has another. Kaisa has concentrated more on education, and I have also concentrated on education, but also the events and the increasing the awareness of the people. And my example is the one example is the repair cafe, which has already many times been mentioned. And as in the research that we heard that Hanna has been done, some people do know about the repairing, and some people know the repair cafes, but many not. And we actually have in the city of Tampere this big clothing swap event, and we have every year it has been already 4 times, and we every year we have there over 1,000 participants. So it's about the changing of the second-hand clothing. And it's very popular, but we wanted to raise awareness also for the repairing and what kind of materials there are in the textiles. So we extended a little bit the idea of the repair cafe. So we had there this repair cafe idea where they could actually try repairing themselves. We had the advisors there, and also we had the maintenance. There was, for example, they could somehow make a maintenance for their own shoes, as you can see in the down left. And also we had an advisor there down the right, there's Jenny, who is advising people what kind of materials there are in the textiles that they just have found from the event, and how they can keep there in good shape, and maybe what they can after that, when they are buying something, what are the good materials and what are the good things in different materials, and where are the plastics, and what are the things that they should avoid when buying and washing their clothes. And we also had this cafe, and it was from the discarded fruits made smoothies, and actually we had this sustainability idea also in the cafe. So this is one of my examples. We have also had toy swap event in Treasures, and it was very interesting. It was giving the people idea that they could give the second-hand toy for a Christmas present, and it's also totally okay. But now I'm giving the speech to Kaisa. So Kaisa, maybe you can shortly tell what you have been done.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for inviting us. I have also prepared some slides, but I try to be quick because we are late off the schedule, I suppose. But anyway, we have been done already something which is already available and live. Actually, that's we created together with the city of Helsinki, and they rehabilitate social services and disabled unit online course for people who are they customers, and they have some difficulties or challenges, for example, reading or understand very complicated text, and together with these persons, these customers, and also the personnel, we created this course. And the idea was that it's part of the at the moment, and now it's part of the official unit's official training program. So the customers are going through these materials, and they when they have passed the course, they will get the allowances or some benefits that what they are aware or that's accepted. So this is real. It was a real case. We had a real problem, real need for this, and also that kind of continuation is tackled because this course is now run by the city's units. So it's available already, and at the moment, during the project is going on, it's also available in the Forum Virium Helsinki's web page as well. Unfortunately, only in Finnish because the customers are in Finnish, and now we are done also that kind of replications of this concept together with our project partners in Norway and in Estonia. So they are using the same method, but and formats, but it's adapted to their own needs. And this avatar, this guy in that left side is part of that process, because it's a guide for this course, and it was also created together with these customers. And in these workshops, we had in total 3 workshops which they were participating, and gave us feedback that how these, for example, some tests or materials look like, how they feel to use them, and so on. And after this feedback, we also adapted the materials. But shortly, this is what we have done by now. And those Estonian and Norwegian materials will be released in autumn. But we had a very fruitful collaboration with them. And it has been a very, very nice to do this together. But that's all from my side. Thank you.
Kaisa, I have a question for you when it comes to this recycling master. So while I think Jenny in Tampere is doing a great job highlighting what are the quality material, what are the quality textiles that we should go for, that we should buy, that they are kind of long lasting, that are kind of opposite to fast fashion that we are all familiar with. This gentleman here with the beard, I imagine it's an avatar or an imaginary person. So while Jenny is someone, next time you see her, you can thank her for her efforts. When it comes to this gentleman here, so I see it's an online course for people with special needs. So from the social perspective, like how did you like ensure that this online course is actually available and accessible for people with special needs? I don't know exactly how you define special needs here, but what if that target group is, let's say, digitally illiterate or does not have accessibility to online platforms? So how did you overcome this big barrier, like creating an online course for people who might not be kind of skilled enough to access them?
Well, there was a bit defined together with the personnel before that we had a call for tenders, that what we are looking for, what is the audience or users and users of the material, and we defined that it have to be gamification, visual, and also that kind of plain text, that simplified text, for example. And in some cases, they are using that as a group work. So they had that kind of leader from the personal side. And then the group of people, the customers, they are doing that together. So they are not, all of them are not able to do it alone, but it's part of their daily activities when they are normally, the disabled people are coming at daily day center where they are some activities, so they are using that there. But most of the persons are able to use that, and they were there when we were designing the materials, so they gave us feedback during the process, not only in the end. So I think that was a very good thing in this course.
Okay, so
actually, actually, I added the link to our replication handbook to the chat, because there are very good stories of how we have done this, and actually there is also, Kaisa has an article about how to create this kind of course for the people with special needs.
Exactly.
Okay,
yeah,
so
that's true.
From what I understood, so it would require some kind of a facilitator or a mentor to kind of facilitate between the course and the target, the person.
It depends. It depends on the person, but not all the time. Yeah. But they had that kind of needs, because there is plenty of information and all kind of materials related to how to recycle, but this was that tailored for these persons.
I see. I was in Tampere in February, an amazing place, second time in my life, and I'm really like, we don't have time. We're not we could talk about tourism, we could talk about a lot of things, but what Tampere did also with the industrial buildings, they're turning them into residential areas, restaurants, and other kind of repurposing processes. That was great. The question I have for Jana, you were mentioning that the project itself is dealing with what was that, underutilized and unused plastic waste. What kind of plastic waste is that?
Well, this is mostly in our project. We speak about rigid plastic because it's not already so much used in Finland, so much reused. So we actually do not collect the rigid plastic so much, and we do not have any reuse for it so much. So we have had this kind of pilots where we have we have tried how to collect the rigid plastic from the citizens, and what do they think about this collecting, what kind of ideas do they have, and do they know what kind of plastic materials do they have in their storage rooms and closets, and what can be recycled again. And then we have had also, led by VTT, we have had some experiments on how can we reuse these materials. And actually we have also tried to find some new businesses who want to collect and reuse these materials.
Because
And
I'm
I
just thinking, like, if I was living in Tampere, and maybe I wish I was, because there are saunas every like 100 meters. So if I receive the flyer saying, "Give us your rigid plastic," so I imagine it's not the the high density polyethylene. I mean, it's quite mainstream already. So what should I look for? So what's rigid plastic again? Like, I'm really curious now. What should I look for in my garage?
Well, maybe the chairs from your garden, and maybe the slides for the winter for the children. I really don't know what is the right word for these, but the slides, and Kaisa, if you know what is pulkka in
yeah,
English.
I don't know. Unfortunately, no.
So and maybe the toys, the toys for the children in outside, and also the
Buckets.
toys that they use. Yes, inside. Yes, these are the most. I think these are we have the most amount of these, but also because people do the renovations, we have also had many of different pipelines and some kind of construction material also from the households.
Okay, I see now. Okay. So I'm now I'm wondering if Hannah is with us, because we lost Ola. And I wonder if Hannah, because I have a question for her. Hannah, there you are. Great to hear you. So I don't think we have time to go back to the presentation that Ola started. However, there was one thing that was a recurring thing that I kept seeing in the results. And I wanted to ask you if you managed to come up with a solution for this. This is something during the Miro board exercise. This is something I put myself as a challenge, as a barrier, or as a something that we need to deal with. So I saw that, like, price, the brand, the peer influence and pressure, social media influence and pressure. So how to make all these, like, Jana and Kaisa were talking toy swap, textile swap, this swap, that swap. And then we have repair cafes, repair this, repair that. So yes, there is this missing part. Like, okay, apart from price, I mean, price can be, there are some instruments that can kind of amortize the gaps and the differences. But what about this peer and social media influence? Like, should we look at more digitalization? Should we look more at kind of, how can we change? Because I have the feeling it's all about also kind of public opinion on these things. How do we change this?
I think one of the key findings from our study was that there should be tailored solutions for different groups of consumers. So we identified lots of different ones depending on area, age group, lots of different things, but two main ones, which were shoppers for fun and shoppers for function. And you have like very different solutions for these different kinds of consumers. So for example, the shoppers for fun, that would be more in the camp of social media, peer pressure, more solutions like rental or things like that when you're talking about textiles. So it's really about tailoring the solution to the kind of consumer that you're targeting, was one of the findings.
Because we are all talking about Marianti was talking about, education from, the young age, and they're like talking to young generation. When I look at the younger generation, I mean, my grandma was more circular than like 1,000 new kids. I mean, it's all fast fashion. It's all like, it's there's a lot of this social pressure and peer pressure. So, I'm trying to understand, like, what do we need to tell them? How do we change their behavior and their shopping pattern? So this, what you mentioned, shopping for fun and shopping for function, are indeed like two really extremes probably. And reaching out to them and explaining them things. And another thing, when it comes to furniture, something that I realized living in the West, living in the West, in Western Europe now, I see that, like, things that I have, like my garage, my shed, I'm looking at them now from my room. They're full of furniture that we kept from, like different apartments, houses, etc. These things are being sold on secondhand market, refurbished. So we're talking about retro furniture. They're being sold for like 2,000, 3,000 euro. A simple kind of a dish cabinet or a bar or something like that. So there is a market for that. There is a demand. People probably want more of that refurbished secondhand, like, retro furniture. But like, I'm really curious, like, are you familiar with any kind of successful platform for that? Because everyone is mentioning, okay, Vinted. I mean, it is global now. But you know, I'm wondering, are there like some cities or regions who came up with like short circuits, something that we can just go and pick up, or something that does not have to travel, I don't know, half the world?
Nothing that I'm super aware of. I know there is a platform for retro secondhand furniture in the Netherlands, for example.
Oh, okay.
It tends to be more upmarket, nice furniture. I can find the name just now, but apart from that, there's nothing major that I'm aware of that is specific to certain regions, or Vinted is the big success story, I think.
Okay, we should make one. I think we should make one. I don't know when is the next call for. Well, there is a Horizon call open right now, so we should think about this. Well, as far as I'm concerned, we'll quickly go through the chat and see if there is anything mentioned there, because we are just a wee bit beyond the 1:30 end of the webinar. So, honey says, "Oh, these are the findings of the study." Yeah, great. Thanks for that. And then the rest of the chat is empty based on what I see.
Jana
yes.
has a raised hand. I don't know if it's
I don't see that. Yeah, go. Oh, Jana.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, go on, Jana.
Yeah. It was actually about the platforms, because we have also interests. We have made a platform for the bio-based side streams, mainly from agriculture, but also we are thinking that when we are having more audience with that platform, then we will extend also for the consumers, because they, for example, they want to have something to their garden, for example. But I think the main problem is that maybe we have also too many platforms, and maybe that's the problem, because we would have to have all people in the same platform, so that we would always find the one who is giving and the one who is needing. So that's a little bit problem in my opinion.
Okay, that sounds like an interesting takeaway from this meeting for the minutes. I have 1, 2, 3 pages of notes. Yeah, one-sided. Unfortunately, it's a notebook. So this is something that is very important for the minutes and for the kind of report, and something that we can use, that I'm sure Marianti and Christina and their teams will use for the social innovation action plan. And as far as I'm concerned, this is something that I will take very seriously for the policy recommendations that we need to submit, like provide, I think around the end of this year. So I would like hereby to thank you for the contribution you made, for the input you provided, for the success stories and the lessons learned shared, for this CSSBoost webinar and a part of the ACR Plus webinar series. I would also be very happy if we can maintain this clustering and kind of synergies going on. Anytime you come up with an idea, or you think you want to do a webinar, or any kind of if there is an opportunity for sharing experiences or anything similar, please, don't forget CSSBoost, because we would be happy to hear more from other projects that probably we never heard of, or we never managed to reach out to, and at the same time we would be happy to share whatever we have at that moment. So yeah, with all these thank you notes, I would like to close this webinar, and thank you again for the time today dedicated to this webinar, to listen, to participate, to ask questions, etc. And all I can tell you is, when it comes to CSSBoost, if you're interested in what we are doing, if you found Marianti's and Christina's approach interesting, as I said, this action plan will be out towards the end of summer. So make sure you follow the project through LinkedIn and the newsletter and the subscribers list, and we'll make sure that all the outputs reach you. So thank you once again. Enjoy the rest of the day and the rest of the week. Holidays will come soon, so a little bit more patience, and it will be a great summer, I'm sure. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you.